After what y'all are reading on the screen, which is actually completely accurate, you can officially say that down is up and up is down. Cambridge Dictionary changes definition of woman and man. Cambridge Dictionary is being blasted by critics online for revising the definition of man and woman to include people who do not identify with the sex they were assigned at birth. Man is now includes the definition as an adult who lives and identifies as a male, though they may have been said to have a different sex at birth. In the same vein, the updated definition of woman reads an adult who lives and identifies as female, though they may have been said to have a different sex at birth. Both definitions previously reflected the outdated views on sex, which assumed that sex and gender identity always adhered to one another. Pay attention to what I just read in that second part. The key words there are outdated views. They literally feel like they speak for the vast majority when they say that. Just because they feel that the assigned definition of man and woman are outdated, they said, well, we're going to go ahead and change it. And again, this is that thing of, because let's just be real here, it's Hall T. It always goes back to Hall T. Just because they want to be included in every single thing. I actually read a tweet tonight where someone had put it that the Academy is not looking for equality. They're looking for special privileges where it only benefits them and them only, specifically that T part within the Academy. And this is proving it right here. See, I keep telling y'all, domino effects, y'all thought it was only going to start and end with same-sex marriages? That was back in what, 2015? We are in 2022 and look at what it has evolved into. Now they have officially changed the definition of man and woman in the Cambridge Dictionary. How long do you think it's going to take before it gets into other dictionaries? Now, this is the Cambridge Dictionary. Cambridge, as you know, that's over what, in the UK, in London? That's them. How long do you think it's going to take before it gets to stateside dictionaries? I'll give you a hint. Probably not very long, because they're right on board with it. The changes were quickly derided on the internet, with political commentator Steven Crowder tweeting, "Remember, if you can control the language, you can control the population." Daily Caller writer Mary Rook called the dictionary writers effing traitors to the truth. Cambridge Dictionary is only the latest. If we don't stop them from erasing women, our civilization is not going to make it, she claimed. Well, they changed the definition of men too, but she's giving me feminist vibes right here. They're not just talking about changing the definition of women. They're doing it for the men too. So to all the men out there, that means now we're going to have to push back. You know how I kept saying, I kept telling women, they're coming for you. They're coming for you. They're coming for you. Well, men, they're coming for us too. They're basically saying that no longer do you have to have something swinging between your legs and jangling between what's swinging between your legs to qualify as a man. You could have been born with a uterus. You could have been born with a vagina and decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go and switch some stuff up and live my life as a male. On the flip side, women, well, you already know how your rundown goes. It's gotten to that point. What is it Rob always says on Black Light Revelations? The world is indeed correct. Here it is. Dan McLaughlin, a senior writer at National Review, reviewed the revision as dystopian as opposed to progressive. 1984 wasn't supposed to be a how-to manual, he tweeted. Still, some social media users pushed back on the backlash, labeling critics as transphobic, of course, and celebrating the changes as more inclusive. Of course, they're going to celebrate it because they're the ones that benefit. They're the only ones that benefit. Usually when you celebrate something, it should benefit a vast majority of the people. But we know who is celebrating the most, and it's just the people who are in Hall T who will celebrate, not necessarily the L, the G, and the B, because they still have their parts. They still they may sleep with the same gender or sleep with both genders, but at least they still identify as a man and a woman. It's that Hall T. It always goes back to them. It goes on to say, guess what transphobes are upset about now? You guessed the dictionary, didn't you? Evan Urquhart, I guess, of Assigned Media tweeted, trans exclusionary radical feminists gonna blow a gasket. Sculptor Daniel Lismore shared, trans people deserve to be recognized for who they are. Similarly, the UK-based group Bristol Leading Against Transphobia hailed the decision as fantastic news. That's the thing. They love to say something is transphobic, even when calling this out. When we say what a man is and what a woman is, they now, because it's changed in this dictionary, they can push back and say, oh, you're being transphobic because, by the way, it says it right here. And to prove to you that they made the change, I actually went onto the Cambridge website. Check this out. Here it is for a man. Man, noun, male. Now, it's a secondary definition. The first one is still there, the traditional one. An adult male human being, a young tall man, men and women, the men and the green. This is sentences and whatever. But look at the secondary one. An adult who lives and identifies as male, though they have been said to have a different sex at birth. And then they even give them, little sentences. Mark is a trans man, a man who was said to be female when they were born. Their doctor encouraged them to live as a man for a while before undergoing surgical transition. Now that's what it says for a man. Now here it is for a woman. But before I get into it, how ironic that they used the picture of a black woman to do this. The first one, again, like the previous one with the man, an adult female human being. But then the secondary one says an adult who lives and identifies as a female, though they may have been said to have a different sex at birth. She was the first trans woman elected to national office. Then it says Mary is a woman who was assigned male at birth. Mary was probably born Mark. And so there it is. As a matter of fact, this same picture right here that you see on your screen was the same one that I just came off of. So there you go. There you have it. That is Cambridge Dictionary has officially added in people who are trans into their dictionary under the categories of man and woman. And I can guarantee almost without the shadow of a doubt that more dictionaries in the States are going to follow. And I say more dictionaries in the States are going to follow. Dictionaries in the States will soon follow. I can almost guarantee it. Like, here we are. But like they said, this is what they claim to be progressive. This is what they claim to be progressive. I mean, they're going the distance now. I mean, they might as well, because they keep saying that, that trans women can give birth. No, not trans, that trans men can give birth. Of course they can give birth. They were biologically born a woman. They just got surgery and changes in hormonal developments to look like that of a man, but they still have a vagina. They still have the inner workings of a woman that will make them able-bodied to carry and give birth. I remember it was some fool on TikTok, and mind you, I don't have a TikTok. I just happened to see the video where it was a black guy and he lives his life as a trans, and he tried to come at natural born women, saying that his words were cis women, because they love to use that word, that cis women should not be going around trying to gatekeep periods, and how gatekeeping periods is transphobic. It's gotten to that point where you have grown men who live their life as a woman out here telling actual born women who have gone through the cycle many a times in their life that they should not be gatekeeping periods and menstrual cycles. And if they do, they're transphobic. I said it should have been a horde of women, especially black women, because this was a black man who said this. It should have been a horde of black women that should have immediately struck at that dude for saying that. The only person I saw do a video, well, not even necessarily a video, but they did a live stream, but they talked about it. Talking about that was the plainest Jane. She, I kid you not, was the only black woman who does YouTube commentaries that I saw actually go at that person for what they said. Because that is very disrespectful. And how is it that I'm talking at length about this in such a tone, and I'm a grown man who will never birth children and never go through a cycle, and I find it insulting that a grown man masquerading as a woman is mad at actual born women, saying that they are transphobic for gatekeeping a cycle, a process that a natural woman has to go through. And from what I hear, that process is not the most comfortable. And to have to deal with that every month, y'all should be extremely heated. I'm talking about over 9,000 Dragon Ball Z levels of pissed offivity. But I guess some of y'all have other things that y'all want to discuss and talk about. But now that they have thrown men into the category, not that they haven't done it before, but now that they have done this because they say, you know what, equal opportunity to the men out there listening. Now we have another mission. We got another uphill battle we're going to have to deal with. It's gotten to that point. And I told y'all about that when they try to say that, you know, hey, I'm a trans man. I can give birth. Men can give birth. I did a whole video about it, as a matter of fact, around this time last year, where they were saying, oh, this man gave birth. No, a man did not. And they got mad because the women or the nurses in the hospital had the nerve to say that this woman gave birth, that this is the mother. And they got so upset about that. Well, they wasn't going to say a man did, but that's what they wanted them to believe. That's what they wanted them to do. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you push agendas. Again, like I told y'all, we are now officially in a world where up is down and down is up. Like Rob says all the time, the world is indeed correct. I never thought in my lifetime that I would ever see something like this come to fruition. This is not something I saw in a crystal ball somewhere years ago. If they had to tell me, read my palm and say what the future looks like, I wouldn't have expected this to pop up. And I'm sure many of you who are listening to the sound of my voice right now would not have expected that either. This is going way, way too far. And I don't care how anybody feels about it. You can call me this and that phobic. I don't give a damn. This has to be called out. No more should we have to live in fear about what's going on in the world around us. Because again, the domino effect, one domino falls, the rest of them fall. And guess what? Them dominoes been falling for a couple of years now. You think they're going to stop with this? Trust and believe. We got many more years to go. As long as we are in good health and continue to live, we're going to be seeing a whole lot more dark shit to come. More dark days are ahead of us. Trust and believe me when I say that.